All right, welcome back to the Monday Review Podcast. Searley Talk Sport, of course, brought to you by the TAB and Michelob Ultra. A pretty good weekend on the punt too. First up, use that code, first, second or third try scorer. Shout out to my boy Lukey, delivering big time, not only for my fantasy, but for my bet slips as well. That was a pleasing way to start. Do have to be honest as well, big weekend for me on the tins. Was at Electric Avenue all weekend. I've watched a lot of highlights catching up. Of course, settled into both of those NRL games yesterday. Super Rugby took a bit of a back burner. Really enjoyed that Chiefs Crusaders game though. Had to watch that one in full just to catch up and prepare for today's pod. But Henry, mate, how are you? I know you were at full time for those games yesterday.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, Searley. I hope you enjoyed your trip down to Christchurch.
Oh, took a toll, but good fun. Good
yeah,
fun.
full time was good. Not that many people there, Sunday Arvo, but a decent crowd there. Yeah, it was good to spend some time with the mates with Rugby League back. So that was a great start.
Yeah, great start. Rugby League is back, and those two games, look, they were good to watch. I am still pretty firm on what I said last week, though, that I think 3 of the 4 teams that played will be in the bottom 4. And I also feel a lot better about my Dogs to miss the 8 prediction, which is a weird thing to say after they won that game. I thought the Dragons were pretty hard done by. But we'll start with that first game, that Knights vs Cowboys game. And I will say, great to see 45,000 tickets sold to that game, up a couple hundred on last year, so the biggest addition that they've had in Vegas since. A lot of people calling out lots of empty seats in the crowds. I think you do have to factor in, like, it's 8 hours of footy. You've been there for 3 or 4 days in Vegas already. A lot of fans are travelling just to watch their team play and then they leave because it's a long day. Odds are you've been on the Bears for quite a few hours prior and a few days prior as well, so you're feeling a bit dusty. After the Warriors played last year, I left. I didn't hang around for the Panthers-Sharks game, which was a bloody good game. I watched it in a bar, but I wasn't going to sit around, and I think that reflects in the crowd numbers in a lot of those games. People are there to watch their team, and by then they're back out onto the strip, in particular if your team won and you're looking to rip in. And well done to the Leeds Rhinos. Shit, their fans would have been ripping in for sure. They pumped, I guess you'd have to call them the world champions, wouldn't you? They bet the Bronx.
Yeah, well, you'd have to, right?
Yes. So they pumped the world champions. What was it, 58 points to 6. Brad Arthur puts on a clinic. Hull KR looked a shell of the team they were a couple of weeks ago when they beat the Broncos. Surely there was a bit of a come down from that. You'd have to wonder if they took Vegas a bit too far. I saw they were parading around with the World Club Challenge trophy like they were the big dogs in the lead up. So perhaps those celebrations were still ongoing, but Micah Sevo. Right, what a way to turn in your CV to NRL clubs still watching, just to say, look, I might be slightly older, but I've still got 4 tries in me. They were bloody good. Knights, they get the win too, 28 points to 18. In a game that I kind of expected from Knights Cowboys. Defense optional. 80 missed tackles compared to 53 that were dished up in the Dogs-Dragons game. This one was a bit more attacking. I thought the Knights looked really sharp in that first kind of 20 minutes, excuse the pun, before Fletcher Sharp went off. I thought they looked really dangerous on attack. That spine starting to click quite nicely. Was gutted to see him go. Stoked it's only PCL, they reckon, 2 to 3 weeks, so not an ACL. You have to think that Lukey try came about because he wasn't moving very well as well.
Well, what about their trainer? Like, he's gone down injured.
Yeah.
Like, you want to get the player back out there. But, geez, if he's not fit to play, don't chuck him there because the Cowboys then did a really smart thing and just go down that way.
Especially when you've got Fletcher Sharp on the bench Sandon Smith, on the bench, who is a half.
He didn't need to get up and play the next 3 minutes and concede a try,
Could have just come off, done the full medical examination then, and then come back on if he was good to go. And, it cost them points straight away, and that could have been a game-defining moment. Luckily, though, for me, the Cowboys just way too lateral. Like we said last year, they play fuck-it footy, and it doesn't look like that's going to change. I had higher hopes, but I still think Todd Payton will be the first coach to go. In terms of their standouts, I thought Lukey was really good, reflected in his 60-odd points for my fantasy team, which I was chuffed on. I thought Jason Taumalolo looked really good through the middle too. That was more the performance that we've seen from him in a Tongan jersey, not in a Cowboys jersey, so I'm sure Cows fans will be happy with that. But apart from that, not a lot of positives to take from the Cowboys. I guess the whole Drinkwater injury early might have thrown them off a little, but he didn't look too interested. I don't know, they're an interesting team for me, the Cowboys, because when you look at them on paper, and they were going in, $1.50 favourites, they should have won that game.
Yeah, their spine is an interesting one with Marnie and Drinkwater. When Drinkwater sort of went down with those, it was the rib cartilage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like, it sort of just didn't really excite us, right?
No.
And like you said, lateral and just didn't really seem like they were going to break the line. Tommy Dearden is a great footballer. Don't get me wrong, he's one of my favourite players, but I don't think he had a great game.
Probably
all
more
things
a six
considered.
too, right? Like his running game is the most deadly part of his game, and I feel like the other players in the spine don't really complement.
It doesn't all work in one, like the Storm spine
or even
does.
like the Knights spine. When you look at it, they have two running halves in Brown and Sharp, but at least with Ponga there, you get some ball playing, some creativity. Like he'd play first receiver a lot, whereas. Yeah, I guess Drinkwater has that in him, but he also just floats in and out of games. Like when it's his day, he's amazing. When it's not, he almost looks a bit disinterested.
Yeah, it was a mixed bag really from the Cowboys.
Some poor fifth tackle options too, just running the ball. Like at least ask some questions. So yeah, in terms of the Cows, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm not too overly excited about them this year. For the Knights, though, I will say Kalen Ponga looked good. He looked on, creative, of course, an interesting preseason disrupted by injury, but he looked like he was at some of his game-breaking best. I thought Fletcher Sharp, as I said, looked really dangerous. I thought their best, Marju, Domi Young, that trio, Gagai had some interesting moments, but the other outside backs, like those three ran for 568 metres. I thought Marju and Dom Young, dangerous on yardage carries. They're good for breaking a couple tackles too. Speaking of tackles, Phoenix Crosland, 48 are the best. He's just a workhorse, eh? No thrills.
I like what they did there, and that, like you said about Ponga, he just looked like he was in control of the game at all times. You know, the roles of Dylan Brown, of Ponga, of Crossland, and Sharp when he was on, it all actually worked and they all knew their roles, understood it very clearly. Whereas on the other side, the flip side, the Cowboys, it just seemed a bit muddled. So I really liked the way that the Ponga actually got his hands on the ball, did a bulk of the kicking to start, then it switched to Brown, you know. So that makeup of that spine actually worked.
Yeah, I thought Dylan Brown was good too. Like I was worried with the 7 jersey, they would take away his running game, but it was great to see him early just asking questions.
Really.
Yeah, it did the opposite, so that was really cool. I thought Trey Mooney was the pick of the forward packs, which, again, would have relieved a lot of fantasy owners. He was very popular in fantasy and in Supercoach, and I think he backed it up. Did you see post-game as well? The cheerleaders ran past him, and he did a bit of like a cheerleader kick. It was quite impressive. Yeah,
I missed that.
He was trying to get into the stands to party with the fans, and they ran past him, and he did it. It was quite a nice little maneuver. The Knights posted it.
Plus 2 points.
Yeah, he's quite flexible, the big fella. Good to see him dot down, but yeah, 137 run meters in 49 minutes. I thought he looked really good. Yeah, I don't expect the Knights to be world beaters. In fact, I still don't have them mixing it up with the competition's best for sure, but to see them get their first win since round 16 last year, goes to show how poor they were last year, but also what a relief for them, and I think we saw that in their celebrations. Like Ponga and that looked so happy. It's just a long way to go to not come away with a win, and I think instantly it relieves a whole lot of pressure around that spine that had been so highly spoken about. I think if it had gone wrong, and Dylan Brown, say, or Ponga didn't play well, they would be the talk of the town this morning, but instead they've managed to avoid that. And then the Dogs-Dragons game, man, roller coaster. 15 points to 14, the first ever Golden Point result in Vegas. I will note now that's 3 years in a row all home teams listed have won. So that's got to be a go-to multi next year for sure. But yeah, controversial this one for me. I thought the Dragons really hard done by down the stretch, and I would argue with everyone that they were probably the better team in this game.
Yeah, but whether they were the better team or not, I'm not sure. It was more just that they actually deserved to win that game.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what I mean? Because the Dogs were in a position to win that and really threw it away. We were just saying off air before. How the Bulldogs didn't go for that drop goal with 4 minutes to play, it's beyond me. Whether the leadership, whether it was a call from upstairs, whatever it was shambolic leadership. Massively. Because I don't know what they were. Maybe they got the call from Vegas. This needs to go to Golden Point.
You reckon? Extra time.
But whatever it was just poor. So I think in that way, I think the Dragons definitely deserved to win the game. Whether they were the better team or not, it's up for debate. But yeah, that's how I saw it.
No, fair. They Dragons completed at 88%. I thought they looked not groundbreaking, but consistent, and that's what we expected from them this year. Geez, they lack some strike, but they try bloody hard. And I guess guys like Gutho, Damien Cook kind of sum that up. Damien Cook, 70 tackles, 2 missed.
He's a freak.
That is a massive shift from a guy that's, 33, 34 years old? The work rate on him is just huge. I do not think that was a strip that led down the stretch there. I thought that was just a loose carry. I think it's a big call to make and a tough one to make when you're not 100% certain on that. I thought that was really hard done by. I also, part of me thinks as well, if you miss a field goal, 7 tackle set, pretty brutal. Like Atkinson had that one there, 89th minute, he misses it. Dogs get a 7 tackle set, they walk down the park and win the game. I get that it's a skill executed poorly that leads to the 7 tackle set. Like, you miss a shot, so that's on you, I guess.
Well, it didn't go dead, right?
It didn't go dead.
It just
caught
went
in
to
the
the
end goal,
side.
so you got to send it, right? But
I'd say that I agree with you. I'd say that if it goes dead, 7 tackle set. But if it's in play, I mean, I'm not sure. It's a 50-50 rule, right?
Yeah, it's like
they're not going to change it.
No, but should it just be play on? Like it's just a kick. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, right? But, Dogs get the win and they'll be relieved for it. Their back three was massive too, 768 run meters. Montoya, 244, the lowest of their wingers and fullbacks. So a big day for them. I thought Stephen Crichton was really good. Obviously, the field goal to clinch it, 177 run meters, a nice little try assist. He's just a classy player for sure. I thought Lockie Galvin was good. I thought he looked dangerous. 190 run meters. Thought his ball playing was really nice through the middle as well. And then Kickow was probably the other standout for me for the Dogs.
Yeah, I agree. I liked what Galvin did when he got his hands on the ball. He just looked a lot more calm than he actually has done in previous years.
Yeah.
I like the way when he got on the ball, he saw Preston, waited, held at the line.
It's a good little combo, eh?
Sort of what we talked about with Katoa last year, Sean Johnson in his late years of his career.
Yeah.
Like just the waiting, get to the line, take on the line. I really liked it. I mean, it's good signs for him personally.
Yeah, he looks like a guy that's now had a preseason with a new team, right? And he looks a whole lot more comfortable. Yeah, for the Dragons, I guess a tough pill to swallow, and I know that their fans were blowing up Deluxe, and fair enough too. Yeah, it could have been a completely different trip for them, and no doubt the fans that made the long trip over would have been heartbroken, but well done to the Dogs. They get the win. I did notice as well, I don't know if you know, did you watch the pre-game show? Matty Johns.
I didn't have the volume on, but we had it on.
Holy, he must have been on one. Like some of the faces he was pulling.
Oh, really?
And he high-fived the Knights coach and did the Borat, high five. It was so good. I think he was either still going or he'd had a few turns. And he was talking complete sense and explaining things really well. But then the cut to Vonnie or something and you'd just see his face. He'd pull all these weird faces.
Did you enjoy him in commentary with Braith?
I did. I thought Braith at times sounded a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it. I think it's an improvement.
I feel like this is getting really technical commentary terms, but I felt like Matty was very conversational and very chill about the way he was explaining it. Whereas in past years when Cooper Cronk or I don't even know, whoever else was in there, it seems to be very passionately driven.
Yeah.
Whereas that sounded a bit more conversational. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Matty's more you're on the couch with your mates and his insight is elite. So it's
100%.
kind of the best mix of both. Sometimes with Cronk, I think he just gets a little bit carried away, right? Because he knows so much about the game and he's so passionate. And it's almost comes across as a bit of a flex at times. You're okay, mate, we get it, you know everything. But I enjoyed, I think Matty Johns is elite. So the more we see of him, the better. I just noticed that he was kind of getting around like he'd had a few turns. Yeah, so that wraps up Vegas. Had FOMO for sure. Looked like another great weekend, a successful one for the NRL. Keen again for next year, just keener for it to be a bit better teams. But I think the result in terms of ticket sales for the 4 teams that we had was a great one for the NRL.
Yeah, and those empty seats, people complaining about that. It's the same thing about when you watch a Blues game or something and it's like at Eden Park and there's 18,000 people there, but because Eden Park's 50k,
exactly.
And it's the same thing with that stadium. How many can that host?
A shit
80,
ton.
70?
So people are just looking for something to pick
100%.
apart.
There's nothing wrong with 45k.
You can't tell me Knights, Cowboys, and Townsville would have got more than 10,000,
No,
right?
absolutely.
So it's a
Completely
massive,
agree.
massive result for round one. This weekend, of course, all eyes turn to the Wars. Can't wait for Team List Tuesday. One piece of news from the Warriors, though, a positive one. Taine extended till the end of 2028. We were talking about Barnett and how that money off the cap for next year could lead to a few extensions, players re-signing. I think this could potentially be the first lot of that. Great to see Taine staying put. I'd thought that maybe Perth Bears or someone like that would be a lure for him, but he has decided to stay here, which I think is a testament to how much he loves the club and perhaps the role he sees himself playing in the future. He's obviously not a guy who has played a crazy amount of first grade, even though he deserves to be a regular player there. And I think it goes to show how well perhaps the club have communicated to him around his importance to the club and the team in the future. And it was really cool to hear him talk about him owning that he wants to wear the one, that he's in a battle with Chance. Chance is a really good player, but he feels like they bring the best out of each other in a competitive standpoint. That's what you want to hear from players. He's like, I'm here to compete. I want to wear the one jersey, and I'm looking forward to competing with Chance over the next couple of years, because that type of environment is how you get the best out of each other. And I'm just stoked that we don't lose him, because he would have been one of those players to me that would go on to Perth and carve up. And then it's that old, one that got away type of adage. I'm glad we've avoided that with Taine.
What do you see the role with next year with Chance? Like, when does Chance contract finish? What sort of... When is the transition going to come, do you think?
Yeah, well, I think if Ali hadn't had such a good preseason, that Chance to centre transition might have happened earlier. I think, well, we'll see tomorrow night, Team List Tuesday, if Ali has done enough to start in that centre role. I think, though, eventually that is the move for sure. And it could well be this year, might be next year. But I do think that the smaller body, Taine at the back, is exciting. Chance just, his yardage carries and his defensive talk is just elite. Like, all the players say that Chance is one of the best defensive fullbacks in the game. His communication is massive. And I guess that's probably an area that Taine would need to work on to get to Chance's level, because you're literally organising the whole defensive line, and that is a massive role to play. And having a loud voice back there like Chance, who's a leader in the team anyway, is massive. Yeah, if there's a way to get both out there starting, that excites me for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I sort of compare Chance. There's something about the fans' sort of obsession with it is sort of like a Draymond Green. People always criticize Draymond Green, but Chance's defensive work, Draymond's defensive work, is so underrated. Like, there's a part of the game. Well, it's not like for like, but there's parts of that I think that actually people don't actually realise unless you're a player.
Yeah, and a lot of it is stuff that you don't see through your TV screen, and a lot of it is stuff that unless you were in the environment, you wouldn't realise how valuable someone is. So a lot of people see the highlight plays and think, shit, we need him in, whereas like consistency, leadership, a vocal presence on the field, all of that stuff is so important. I think as well, like players feeling confident and safe when someone's in the team is a massive part of it, right? And I think once players know that Chance is in the team or at the back, they know what they're going to get from him. He's so reliable every week, and I think that's an underrated aspect. Everyone wants razzle and highlights, but consistency is crucial, right? And I think Chance brings that. But great to see Taine stay. Really excited around the future there. I would not have been shocked if Perth had got him. Does look like they might have Marata. That's the rumours, right? Everyone's coming out now saying that the Perth Bears, that's their next target. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen, to be fair. He's on a decent contract here at the Warriors. We've got a lot of young middles and second rowers coming through. And I just think it would come down to money. I'd say the Wars will want to keep him. He played every game last year. He has a rap on him, right? That suspended, injuries, all that type of stuff.
Did he not miss anything last year?
But I believe there was 3 guys. Wets was one of them, Adam Pompey. And I think Marata was right in there too. Around, if it wasn't every game, it was 95% of games, which when you think of Marata, right, you think of big collisions that often, unfortunately, end up with him on report, rightly or wrongly. But yeah, I think for Perth, he would be a massive signing because experience, bit of an enforcer, already don't mind their forward pack, and to get a body like that, I think it'll just come down to money, and Perth probably have the coin to keep him, whereas, you know, with the young bucks coming through, you got your Eddies and Kalis, Fatialofa and all those boys fighting for edge spots already, and I think come next year, they'll deserve it even more. So
I wouldn't mind that move at all
No.
for the club even.
Yeah.
I think that putting half of the money, let's say, of Marata's contract, splitting it to two young guns that we can re-sign and extend, I think that's a better deal for both clubs, probably long term.
Yeah, makes a whole lot of sense. So, I could see that being a great landing spot for him, and he would play a pivotal role in really building up the Perth Bears from there, and what's going to be an exciting year for them. Teamless Tuesday, can't wait for that. Bring on Friday night, bro.
There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot on Tuesday for fantasy teams. There's going to be a lot. It's the first proper one. It sort of felt like the preview on last Tuesday. It was like a couple of teams you get, but it's like it was a bit disappointing. You're like, just scrolling down and there's only 2 team lists.
It was like, because Tuesday 6 o'clock for league fans becomes like must see on your phone viewing.
Yeah.
And I felt like last week,
It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't that excitement. It was like 10 past 6 and you open your phone and you're like, oh shit, that's right. It was Teamless Tuesday, whereas tomorrow night, 6 p.m, you best believe it's bums on seats.
Can you give us your 17? If people are listening to this before the Tuesday team list, give us your team list.
I don't think it's changed too much from the other week. I think Chance will be at the back. I think Dallin Rog in there for sure. I'm gonna go with Ali. I think you'll get that centre spot with Wets, Adam Pompey in there. I think it'll be Chanel and Tanner Boyd. I think Chanel will be good to go. Wado at 9. I haven't heard too much more on Barnett. I would love to see him named in an extended bench, and then we at least have a bit of a chance that he's coming back in there. But I think it'll be Jacko Ford and James Fisher-Harris. I think then it'll be Capes. It'll be interesting. I'm hopeful of a Jakey Laban start. I'm expecting a huge year for him, so I'm thinking he will be in the second row with Aaron Clark. And then that bench is just a straight shootout, man, and it's a great problem to have. But I think it'll be Healy on there, and then you've got to have Demi and Lecker, and then it's just chaos from there. I think Tanner 100% deserves.
I was going to say, surely
Tanner
that's your next name going off.
He needs a spot in there. Then there's a Taine, because now we have the 6-man bench, which I actually think worked really well in Vegas, because we had some outside backs go off early. And guys in higher numbers, normally you
almost didn't notice the injuries as much.
Exactly, whereas they had potential to ruin a game. Like the Sandon Smith one wouldn't have, because he was already on the bench, but then it meant, that he comes on and you can still afford to bring another middle in and not lose that.
It was a seamless.
Yeah, Dragons brought on an outside back, right? So I think it made things way less disruptive. But yeah, I'd expect to see Taine on there. It'll be interesting to see if someone like a Cam Pereira gets his way onto there, a Luke Hanson even, because you need some halves cover, but you've also got Chance there. So
would you go AKP or Taine on the bench as that outside back cover?
I think I'd go Taine.
Yeah,
I think I'd go Taine.
It's probably the more likely thing, right?
Yeah, hasn't played a preseason game for us, unfortunately, due to concussion. I think Taine, AKP is just a straight and out winger, whereas Taine can play wing, can play fullback, could play in the halves if you need it as well. So yeah, that would be the way I would go. But guys like Eddie and that, Morgan Gannett, there's so many guys fighting for spots. Marata himself, who's back. So it's stacked, man. We've got legit 22, 23 guys that could fit into a 17, let alone a 19. So you're really excited to see which way we go. But I believe all of those guys that were bracketed, your Roger, your Chanel, your Marata, they will be fit and ready to go. So exciting times. Rip in. Super Rugby. Round 3. Some upsets.
Yeah, a couple of upsets. I'll go through the scores just in a second.
You didn't have Moana as an upset,
No, I
did
didn't.
you?
I had Force.
Yes.
I'm not actually sure why more people didn't.
I'm not sure why I didn't. I just thought the home factor back in Pookie, I thought some key players that had the week off and were rested would be ready to go. And I just thought for the Force, the travel factor, I guess I just underestimated them away from home. I thought they were going to be Perth bullies again, and they weren't really bullying teams, to be fair, but they were staying in contests, and they certainly dominated this one.
2 things. Did you see George Bridge not score over the line? Needed to plant it. I was stoked to see George Bridge back playing in New Zealand, though, right? As soon as he's a name where you're like, oh, shit, yeah, that's right. Yeah, what a player, too. And look, I thought the Force were pretty good. I thought they dominated set piece, they dominated territory, which is keys to beating Moana, because those are probably the 2 aspects of their game that let them down the most. And I think they just wore them down. Moana, to their credit, never rolled over, but I just thought the Force were too good. And
They get their first win of the season. I think it's the first time, they were saying, in Super Rugby Pacific.
It's 1,368 days.
There we go.
Since I'm going to get the exact stat in a second, but that's how long it was, and sort of since the Perth, the Force won a game in New Zealand, I think it is, which is what I'll just check now.
Yeah,
but that's a hectic stat.
And the first time that no team has been winless after 3 rounds or something.
Everyone's got to win,
Which I think is testament to the competition this year.
Here it is, 1,375 days since they last won in New Zealand, and since round 10 in 2022.
That's crazy. And as Moana, you would just be gutted that it was you, right?
Is it worrying signs for Moana?
Look, I think it's a depth thing, for sure.
They got the Chiefs this week.
They do, which is worrying because the Chiefs will want to bounce back. But, yeah, I think everyone expected this year to be a slight regression off the back of last year, right? Obviously, no Artie hurts them massively. Still a decent squad. Yeah, I think it's just the little things for them, right? And consistency, week in, week out, plus once you pick up a couple injuries. Tough travel way to kick off the year. I expected a bit more of a bounce back, though. And... yeah, look, that first up win in Fiji, massive, but since then it's been a tough watch.
Yep, and then we move on to Suncorp Stadium on Friday night. Reds with a big win over the Highlanders. Highlanders' second loss in a row. I thought the Highlanders just missed way too many tackles in this one. It was something like 1 in 5 tackles that they missed.
Shit.
Something stupid like that. The Reds, though, very exciting. We did say, I'm pretty sure we said that we were expecting a little bit of a bounce back. And that's what we got. Yeah,
off the bye, we were saying that they would be tough to beat over there. I thought it was going to be closer. I think I said under 7.5 points either way was the way to go here. But yeah, the Reds were deserved winners. I do think the Landers had some rough calls, in particular down the stretch, just as it looked like they were trying to wrestle back momentum there. I thought that was a try to, was it TK Holden?
Yep.
I thought he scored that.
Yep.
And that would have made it interesting, 31-21 with 10 minutes to go. But I do think that the better team won this game for sure. And the Reds are one of those teams. You catch them in Queensland. They can play exciting footy. Shit will they know about Tim Tavatavanawai, though.
Jeez, how good was that run?
Bro, he was sending people flying. I think there was another one too where Big Harry Wilson tried to shot him and he just got absolutely sat on his ass. Yeah, Jeez, like watching that, you're just like, man, I wish he was available for that end-of-year tour last year. He is a wrecking ball.
How good was that Fraser McWright try with Harry Wilson through the legs?
Yeah.
The skill of the big man.
No, the skill of the big man. And they have some, like watching the Aussie teams, they have some skillful forwards, right, that can throw the ball around and play an exciting brand. And yes, the 2 top teams, undefeated teams, are Australian. The Reds are right in the mix too. I'm excited moving forward, seeing more of these Trans-Tasman games, just so we can get a really good gauge. But I think the Reds show that they are a bloody good team.
How about Jack Taylor? Shout out Jack Taylor. How about a left-footed 50-22 from the middle of the field?
Talented bloke. That is insane to pull off.
A hooker?
Yeah, a hooker, left foot, 50-22. And I think he did bloody well in fantasy too, didn't he?
68 points, I think.
Far out. Yeah, some good young hookers coming through too, right?
Yep, heck of a football. And then we moved to Saturday. Geez, it was average conditions in Lautoka between the Hurricanes and the Drua. The Hurricanes going down. Were you surprised, or with the conditions you weren't surprised?
I was surprised because I didn't watch this one live.
Yeah.
I was checking my phone, and when I saw the score, I thought, what the hell is going on? Opened Instagram.
Seen the
just through the try highlights, you could see the conditions. I saw the amount of errors from the Canes, and I was like, geez, what has happened there? But then when you see the wet, you're like, yeah, that explains it. For me, just handling errors really cost them, right? And it was the perfect recipe for a Fiji and Drua win. The conditions, the crowd, yeah, tough to go over there and try beat them. Great for the Drua to bounce back because I was really worried about them. But a big win for them, and just a lack of execution for the Canes really hurt.
Yeah, I was just going to say the Drua really needed to win that game. They need to win all their home games because they don't play very well away from home.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. What did you make of the Hurricanes just because of that first round? Well, round 2, but their first game where they were so dominant, but it was just dry, sunny. Is that the thing for the Hurricanes? Because we talked about how the Crusaders are very good in the wet weather.
Yeah.
But do you think it's a bit of the opposite for the Hurricanes?
Oh, I guess as well, no genuine 10, right?
Yeah, that could have hurt them.
Which might have hurt them a bit. Like Harkin, great player, But I think dry, razzle-dazzle footy really suited that. I thought the Drua did a good job of containing Roigard. I thought he had some really nice moments, but yeah, I think that was just a Fiji special right there, and someone like a Brett Cameron might have had a bit more success there playing a kicking game, trying to play the ball in the right areas, because I thought the Canes at times started to build momentum, but then just execution, just the little things that really let them down. They will be gutted to have dropped that one, though, for sure, because I thought they looked really good against Moana, and they were expected to go over there and win fairly easily. I think they were $1.13 favourites, so well done to the Drua.
Yep, moving on to Saturday night at Rugby Park, the newly named Rugby Park in Hamilton. 18,000 there, actually, for that one, so that's a good crowd. Chiefs 33, Crusaders 43. The bounce back, what did you make of that?
First of all, I got sprayed a lot on the weekend from Christchurch locals, and fair enough too. They heard about the 0-5 prediction,
yes,
and they weren't happy, and they let me know. I will say as well, shout out to one guy who actually gave me an Taine Tuaupiki Weet-Bix trading card.
Brilliant.
He stood next to me and didn't say a word, and I was like, what's this geezer up to? He was reaching into his wallet. I was like, fuck, this could be anything here. And he pulls out an Taine Tuaupiki trading card, and he goes, Searley, I would love to give this to you. And I thought, thanks a lot, mate. And then he pulled out a John Afoa one and said I couldn't have that because that was his favourite player. So a real purist, a niche rugby fan.
A tight head prop.
But yeah, great to see Taine Tuaupiki trading cards still being carried around to festivals. But yeah, I copped it from the Christchurch locals, and fair enough too. This game was elite. As I said, I watched the whole replay, thoroughly enjoyed it. Some of those tries, it's an Nano Satoro one, has to be my Michelob moment of the week, mate. We're using it there. It started off in a what are you doing moment, and then turned into was that one of the best tries, not just this year, over the last couple years. Like, that was the perfect Super Rugby try, where it's just razzle, broken play, a bounced pass in the in goal. Leroy Carter just catches it, backs himself. You had 3 or 4 great offloads, and it results in a beautiful try. But then the Crusaders scored some unreal tries too. I thought this game was physical. I thought it had everything, almost a bit of biff. That should have been a card on David Havili, 100%.
The Jared Prophet
at Jared Prophet, yeah. Look, I'm all for stuff like that, but that's above horizontal or whatever it is every day of the week, and the fact that it was just completely unnecessary. But I love that game, like, if that's what we're in for. And it looks like that's what we are in for, at least one game every round this year, which is so exciting.
2 things from that. First of all, do you think that actually helped the Crusaders?
I think it did. I think it did. And there were moments in the game where you could tell they were so, like that Will Jordan try save when the game was over. But, like, that's just a full want play. Like, Leroy Carter regarded as the fastest guy in New Zealand rugby, or one of. Will Jordan, massive effort play when the game's done and dusted, and you could tell just how up they were for it. Like, this game meant a shit ton to them. They know that they had been getting a lot of flack in the media, being written off. But I do think that David Havili moment got them up, like big Tamaiti Williams reaction.
He was fired up.
But, like, shit like that means a lot to teams, right? And I do think it's probably a regretful moment from Prophet, because I do think it sparked them into another gear. After 10 minutes, it looked like it was going to be a cricket score potentially.
That Leroy Carter try, if you haven't go and see it now, but it was one of those moments where you're going, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, in your own end goal, what are you doing? Like, throwing it out from their own end, and then you get down, and first of all, big props to Josh Lord. Yes. Big Josh Lord gets his hands on the ball in one hand, rangy.
Yeah, crazy. Over the last couple of years when he's been in All Black squads, I kind of banked it on, he's this young guy coming through, showing a lot of potential. He's just in the mixer there. If we had another big lock, perhaps he would have got overlooked. I feel like to start this year, he has been so damn good. So good. There was that break last week too where he was the first person in support. I'd love to see like a race. He moves.
Yeah, he does move. And I saw him say on a clip that he looked around. He didn't know what to do. Yeah. So he got in the clear space and he's like, shit, where is everyone?
And I love the ball in one hand. That's becoming like his trademark. Yeah, he was unreal. I thought the Crusaders looked really good. Their set piece, so dominant. I thought at times they made the Chiefs just kick away ball aimlessly as well. Christian Leo Willie, what a performance from him. I thought he was exceptional in a big loose forward battle. I thought he really stood up. Thought Will Jordan was really good as well. This was more just that Crusaders team. And it's just a reminder, like, filled with All Blacks who didn't do a lot of their preseason. They were bound to hit their straps at some stage. And unfortunately for my predictions, it happened against the Chiefs.
Yeah, they were always going to get it right. Eventually, it was just a matter of when.
Question, I don't think it was Josh Jacobs' best game. D-Mac.
Oh, he's straight in. Has to be.
He's straight in. And do you think him being there would have changed things enough for the Chiefs to get the win? Or do you just think the Crusaders were on and would have been good enough?
I think the Crusaders probably still would have won the game.
It's hard to say,
It's hard to say, but I definitely think it would have been a lot more 50-50 because in the end, I do think the Crusaders did deserve to win that game.
Yeah.
Whereas I think if Damian McKenzie was playing, it was probably a bit closer of a game. He has to go straight in.
Yes.
And like, geez, they've got... I don't think it was Josh Jacobs' best game. And the question back to you is that Jacobs is a good, solid player, but he doesn't really have the ceiling, does he, of other 10s? Where do you sort of stand on that? Because he's an All Black 15... Type 10, he's going to the Highlanders. Where do you kind of sit on his trajectory?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because quite a few people are saying that now, right? And even at the All Blacks 15 stuff, like, he's consistent, he's solid, he's steady. He's a good footballer, don't get me wrong, and I think he's a great option to have in New Zealand rugby for sure. It's just, that top-end potential, I guess. You will say, though, like, his floor isn't so far from his ceiling. Like, he is reasonably reliable.
The Harry Plummer sort of type.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I still really rate him as a footballer, and I'm sure you do too. Yeah. But, yeah, I guess he's not going to light up a game, but he can still win you a game. I think I'm excited to see him just be the guy at the Highlanders because I feel like he will be, he's guaranteed to be their main playmaker, and I'm keen to see what level he goes to there, especially if Jamie Joseph is his coach. But we still don't know.
We don't have that. No, we're going to keep saying that.
What? Like,
it's mid-March.
Mid-March.
I'd say around the 15th.
Because it was early March.
It was early March.
And it was a week. Like, not too long ago, it was going to be within the week. That was all the rumours,
Well, the rumour was the Friday night before the Highlanders' first game at one point of the rumour mill, so I don't know.
What is going on? This
they're
is
in Japan.
unheard of.
Dane Coles and Steve Lancaster, the CEO, have been in or is in Japan with Dave Rennie at the Kobe Steelers, just witnessing trainings and games, and they did win by 70 points on the weekend.
Yes, they did.
So, yeah, there's a bit of that going on. Who knows? When it comes, we'll break it to you.
Oh, absolutely. But it's just bizarre, right, that we don't have an All Blacks coach. But anyway, great game, that one. Really enjoyed it.
Yep, 100%. And that is no disrespect to Josh Jacobs as well. Good footballer. We're just talking about that ceiling.
Yeah, that Richie Mwanga next level to your game type of thing, for sure.
All right, in the last game, the Brumbies with a very close victory over the Blues. Heartbreak for the Blues. I actually thought they played really well in that one. What did you make of it?
How did they lose it was
I don't know.
What I was thinking post-game. And I was gutted for them, for sure. And I think the Brumbies will feel relieved to get that win. It was a great game, though. Another really good watch. Again, your boy, the superfood, Kale, comes up with the big
He's
play
unstoppable.
there. He is unstoppable. I found this an entertaining watch for sure. I thought the Blues, in particular, guys like Caleb Clark, Dalton, really good, and I certainly think they did more than enough to win that game. And in Dalton's 100th, they'll be pretty gutted that they couldn't get it done. It's also a good sign, though, I think, for New Zealand teams, just to see that, because I don't think anyone regards the Blues as the best of the Kiwi teams. I think it's good to see that you can still go to Canberra and knock off the undefeated team in the competition, right?
We did say that their play style is best suited to beat the Brumbies.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting one because I don't think the Chiefs could go there and take it to them like that. So it's an interesting one. I like your points.
Yeah. As a Blues fan?
Heartbreak.
Yeah, gut-wrenched.
It was just one of those games where you're like, as soon as that yellow card happened to Stephen Perifetta, do you like that rule? I hate that rule.
I hate that rule, 100%.
It's stupid, eh?
Yeah, needs to go. And yeah, that was a momentum changer. And it had that ominous feeling of it towards the back end of the stretch.
Oh, you just knew it was going to happen.
You're like, how is this going to happen to us? But it did happen.
With that rule, it's an interesting one because I just think there needs to be some clarity over when it's a yellow card and when it's not a yellow card because there's no doubt that there's some of those knockdowns where they're never going to get there.
No.
And that's a yellow card.
Yeah.
But if it's close contact and he's half making a tackle and his hand's out there making a
There's
tackle,
no intent, and I think as the new rules got announced, we spoke about that being one that we wished was in there. Just some further, I guess, relief around certain circumstances, like you're saying, and then a further explanation of what is intentional because,
the rule is deliberate, by the way. It says in the rule, deliberate. And there is no way Stephen Perifeta there is deliberately knocking the ball down.
Nah. So in that case, I'd rather it just be like a knock-on and you just get rid of it.
Or a penalty. If that one, I'd be okay if you go penalty. Okay, well, he stopped basically a certain try.
Yes.
But it's not intentional, so penalty.
Well, and it's crazy, right? Because now we get penalty tries that they can deem on that. But it's almost like for these knockdowns, it's just a go-to yellow. I think there needs to be a bit of leniency there and some common sense brought into it too.
And lastly, on Super Rugby, 3-2-1s.
Yes.
And we'll on Thursday, we'll talk about where the standings are for that.
I need to do some homework there.
We need to do some homework there, but let's just go through our 3-2-1s for this week.
My 3 was Christian Leo-Willie.
Yep.
I thought he was really good. My 2, we spoke about young hookers. I think George Bell was really good. And then my 1... I was going to go with the Drua lad. Name escapes
Armstrong
me.
Ravula, the first 5 or not?
Was it one of them? Oh, names escape me.
But the midfielder?
Yeah, midfielder.
Yep.
I thought he was really good.
I'll get that name for you.
Instead went with Rob Valentini.
Oh, so you're going to go on with Valentini as the one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Valentini as the one. It was a toss-up for me, but yeah, I thought he was really good. He's massive for Australian rugby, eh? Just that, and against a physical Blues forward pack, you need to fight fire with fire sometimes. I thought he was really good.
I'm going to go Christian Leo-Willie 3. I don't think you could score a hat-trick in basically an All Blacks trial and not be the best player of the weekend.
Crazy he missed out at that India tour.
Yeah, nuts, eh? So I'll go with him 3. I'll agree with you on that one. 2, I'm going to go Fraser McWright.
Yep.
Big fan of his work. Really rangy. He's not the biggest of players.
No.
But he loves some work on the outside. He's chase hard, he's quick.
He's a typical... reminds me so much of that, right?
Yeah, so he's my 2. And then 1, I'm going to go Jack Taylor, based on the fact that I've never seen a hooker do so many good kicks in my life. A left-footed 50-22. He
must have top-end clearance to do that from the powers that be, right?
Is he one of the ones that goes into training and goes, I used to be a first 5?
Yeah, or the coach is like, right, kickers are going to start training half an hour early tomorrow, and all of a sudden there he is, just... knocking seeds, and he's just earned the respect of the boys eventually, because there's forwards that do that 100%, but they never get thrown a Gilbert. Maybe he is the one, a real throwaway. Great to see. Quickly, T20.
Yes.
Black Caps, please, Matt Henry, we need you back.
Well, have we got confirmation whether the baby's...
Well, Lockie Ferguson's back.
Yeah, he played the last game.
Yeah, so baby success there.
Yeah.
We haven't on Matt Henry.
I'll check.
We've got till Thursday morning.
Yeah, but he's back in New Zealand, I would have thought by now.
Yeah, so he's got to get back over there. So you think he's got till Tuesday night, right, to get over there. We're taking on South Africa 2:30 in the morning. South Africa 7 from 7. They've been the hot team so far. I am a big believer that you cannot go through a T20 World Cup unbeaten. It is a game, especially that you need to lose a game, and there's a bit of luck involved in T20, right? Things can change so dramatically. Surely they can't go through unbeaten, and if there's a team that's going to knock them off, I just feel like it's such a typical Black Caps win to get this one done. So fingers crossed we can knock them off. That is going to be a heck of a game. India, England, the other semi, which will be a good one. I'd love a Black Caps India final.
But I want England to win because I feel like we've got more chance of beating England. I don't think we beat India in the final. That's just me.
Yeah, in India.
And baby watch for Matt Henry, private Instagram accounts, so I can't see anything.
Do you reckon he's just done that?
Matt Henry's...
No,
I've even gone deeper on this. Matt Henry's Instagram's account public, no post.
Gotcha.
The wife...
the wife's gone private. Yeah,
well, or was private. So we've got no news on that.
Okay, no news on that. Fingers crossed that we get news tomorrow, Tuesday, that Matt Henry is on a plane.
2:30 a.m. Thursday?
Yeah. How early do you reckon he needs to get there in order to play? Business class?
It's a win. Where can you fly from Auckland? Can you fly?
Fuck. private jet the bloke, whatever it takes. However much money New Zealand cricket has at the moment, now is the time to cough it up. But he's been over there for so long that I guess he would be acclimatised anyway. And shout out to Dan Hilliers as well. 360k in the bank after winning the NZ Open. First Kiwi to do it since 2017. I believe he would add a few tins to celebrate.
And he got married the week before.
There you go. It looks like a great weekend, eh?
Apparently he said in the interview that it was the second best day of his life. So ticks there with the wife, clearly.
I'd love, like, lie detector.
Yeah.
To hook him
up. Is your nose getting bigger?
And just see if it's legit or if he places that higher than the wedding. But we'll take him on his word and a smart man. But that wraps us up for this week. Thursday, we'll be running over the team list, getting ready. It'll be game day eve for the Mighty Warriors. So fizzing for that, plus some more Super Rugby and a full round, really, of NRL. Winter sports are back. Plus T20, it's that great crossover where you get both worlds at the same time. A huge weekend of sport this weekend, especially in Auckland. That 4 games, 1 ticket going down. So
how many are you going to?
I am going to 2, possibly 3.
Yep.
It depends how many beers I have at the horses to then go to Eden Park.
Are you more likely you'll go to the rugby straight after that?
Well, I'm going WARS and I'm going the horses.
Yeah.
And then the third is TBC, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. Post the Kiwi.
Because also, if the Warriors win, Saturday's a beauty of a day, so you probably continue. But if they lose, the horses could turn into...
That becomes like a main event almost now, because didn't send it on the Friday post the loss. So then...
It's an interesting makeup.
It could go either way. But a great weekend of sport. Can't wait to run you all through it. Go out. Catch you Thursday.